Welcome back to Law Factor Live. I'm with my guests, Marcia Vite from the Inland Revenue Department and Nelson Alexander from IVATS. We're talking about tax, in particular income tax. But if you'd like to win a gift related to tonight's show, tell us 3 sponsors of DFL, including one that cares about your security. And if you'd like to win something else, tell us where IVATS is located. We stop taking answers at 9:30. Okay, remember to also keep sending in names of women you think deserve recognition. It's International Women's Day next Thursday, March the 8th, and we want to compliment these wonderful women. I'm sure you have a few in your life of whom you are very proud. So just send us their name, and your contact details. Now we're talking about income tax, and as I said, we're going to go through some of the questions that we have actually received from viewers, but here's a couple. Okay, what are the main differences if you're filing as an individual or as a business, and are there advantages or disadvantages, and are the penalties the same? Go ahead, Nelson.
I'll take that one. Inland Revenue does not differentiate between an individual and a business name. They will still assess the business name as the individual. Okay, the business, if it is registered as an incorporation, or if it's incorporated, then it will be assessed differently. It will carry a different rates and they have different criteria. But a business name is just a business name, so the individual will be operating as that business name. But in Inland Revenue's eyes, so when they come to assess, they'll assess the individual. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And
so that individual will carry the same rates as if the person is an employee.
Okay. And the penalties, are they the same?
They would be the same as an employee. Yeah.
Okay. And what are the penalties?
Well, the penalties will mainly be late filing, if the return comes in late, which is a 5%.
5% of what?
5% of the tax that's assessed on the chargeable income.
Okay.
Okay. The chargeable income is the final amount on which Inland Revenue charges the tax.
Okay.
Okay. So when the tax is charged on the chargeable income, 5% of that will be the late filing penalty. Okay. When that liability is established, if the person pay that liability after March 31st, there's an additional 10% of that tax that was due. So the tax that was due plus the tax on chargeable income plus the 5%, 10% is charged on that, and that is payable.
That's 15%.
Well, 5% plus the tax that was charged on the chargeable income.
Yes.
Plus and charge additional 10%.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So is that 10? Is that 15% then? 5
No,
for the.
It's an accumulation because you're adding the 5 to the.
It's
to what
actually
was
more.
the
Okay,
it's
let's hear
15%.
Marcia. Tell us what are the penalties. Tell
and
us.
there's an extra penalty also, which is the interest. There's interest also every month that amount is late, or you have not settled that amount.
Right. Let's hear from Marcia.
Let's just say we encourage you to file on time and pay on time.
Well, people, that's why I'm asking all these questions, because we don't want you to say that you didn't know or that you assumed. That's things that people always do. You assume that you know. You know, here are the experts here. Marcia is going to tell us exactly. I mean, she's in the department. She's going to tell us exactly how much these penalties are. And as I said, it's not to scare you away from doing it. It's to encourage you to do it on time, because you cannot avoid these fees. Okay, listen to these fees so that you file on time. Sorry, Marcia, I have to do it that way because I'm championing for the people. I want us to look forward to doing it on time.
On time. Yeah.
I agree. You, like Nelson said, he's correct in saying that you pay 5%. First off, once you're late, there's a 5% fee. Once you're owing and you don't pay within the time frame, there's an additional 10%. So if you do the maths, you'll realize that the 5% on, for instance, $100 that you owe, you would get 105. Then you would go and then add the 10% of that, and that is the tax that you pay. For every additional month that you have not paid these taxes, there's an interest.
Right, let me take off all my mics and everything and run home. No, because, I mean, it's serious.
It's serious.
It's serious. It is serious. Because you're telling me every month that I file late, you're going to add how much more?
Every month is at 1.04%.
Monthly.
Yeah.
So you have a 5% late penalty, you have a 10% late payment penalty, and a 1.04%.
No wonder
monthly.
why everyone is always at Inland Revenue at the very end. You know?
But the good thing is, there's an amnesty. The amnesty does not pertain to this this year, because we're encouraging you to pay on time, and ensure that you pay on time for 2011. The amnesty is not for 2011. It is for the back years.
What is this amnesty all about? That's one of our questions. People want clarification. What does amnesty mean?
You have a liability. How we just explained it, the interest and penalties, they grow on rapidly. With the amnesty, no interest, no penalty. That is the best amnesty that Inland Revenue has ever offered.
I agree.
There has never been an
Nelson
amnesty
agrees,
like that.
people. They're agreeing.
That's the best amnesty.
The best. All right. Okay, Marcia. And
So you come in, you know you have a liability. Now is the time to come into us. It's the amnesty goes for 1 year. It started from February the 1st, and it ends on January the 31st, 2013.
that's very generous. Sorry, I must say.
Yeah, 1
I
year.
think that's very generous. You've got a nearly, a whole year to try and
To pay your back taxes.
to pay your back
Let me
taxes.
just exaggerate again. The amnesty applies to everything up to 2010. Okay? 2011 become current in 2012. That's when it's
Right.
filed.
Right.
So all liabilities prior to 2010, the amnesty would apply to that. So
Good.
once you're owing any taxes before that period, which is before 2011, come to Inland Revenue and make arrangements to settle within the bounds of the amnesty period.
We like Nelson.
Which is
But we also have to say that the amnesty is on specific taxes. It's on corporation
Here's
taxes.
the small print.
It's on corporations that you can come in to pay. Individuals, yes, we'd love you to come in and pay. And PAYE arrears. These are the three heads that we will deal mainly with for the amnesty. This is what we're the concessions are
That's
on.
still fantastic.
It is,
That's
it
really,
is.
really good. So, people, because, to me, that's a breath of fresh air and a good reason now for you to feel so excited and eager to get it done, and get it done in time. And if you're not sure of how to do it, Inland Revenue Department is here, and so people like Nelson who offer their services too. Don't wait till the last minute. And another thing about waiting for the last minute that people may not understand and even appreciate, if you are an employee and you have to leave your job to go and spend a few hours, half a day, whatever it is, because you want to beat the deadline, you are showing your employer that you are an irresponsible employee. Because I know certainly if I were a manager and the people I work with are out of the premises because they're filing, I'd be thinking, well, if I was thinking of promoting you, you've just to me, you've just ended that. And I think that a lot of people forget that when you have to do something, you mustn't do it in your work hours time. Because sometimes, I remember last year, and I'm being honest, I would call certain departments like towards the end of March, and there was nobody in the department because everyone has gone to Inland Revenue to file, and good managers perhaps should give maybe an extended lunch hour or whatever before the time. But whole departments were out because they were filing. That's so irresponsible. So if your New Year resolution for 2012 was to be more responsible, or maybe if your paying your tax on time was one of your resolutions, then this is the time for you to uphold that resolution and go into Inland Revenue Department, go and see Nelson, and talk about any fears you have. And that's another thing, I suppose, if people leave it to the last minute because they're afraid. They're afraid.
And there's no need to be. There's no need to be. We have it done. I think we have the perfect setup for those who don't want to come into us. You go online and you can actually fill out your income tax return online. You put in all your personal information, your name, your address, your email address, and everything else. You put in your revenue that you earned for the financial year, the year, January to December, and the system automatically calculates your taxes. You put in the PAYE, and you print it and you bring it into us. We can check it out to ensure that it's correct, but it's done so it's so much easier for you to do at home. And that is what we're going to be pushing with people. Go on. We know that lots of people go online. Try it out, see how it works, give us some feedback, let us know what you thought of it, and we would appreciate that.
What's the website address?
It's www.ird.gov.lc.
Okay, and if you don't remember that, viewers, if you just go to Google and type in Inland Revenue St. Lucia, you'll get it, okay? Inland Revenue St. Lucia, and it's there. It's very informative. I've had a look at it. Easy peasy. You can always get someone to sit with you, 'cause not everyone likes filling in forms, you know. So maybe you can ask somebody to sit with you and go through certain things with you. Now, the other thing is I'd like to ask, well, I wanted to ask first about the payment. Okay, you know you have $1,000 to pay. Do you have to pay that $1,000 there and then, Marcia?
We would ask you to, because we want you to pay as soon as possible. So we would ask you, can you please pay us in full? If you can't, and you would have to show us that you really can't pay us in full, we would then set up some form of payment plan for you.
What does that mean, that we have to show you that you can't pay?
You have to tell us something. If something is preventing you from paying, your expenses are too high, some reason for not being able to pay us in full. And we would have to look at whatever you're saying, probably your bank statement, something. Give us some information to support what you're saying.
You more or less will meet even an officer one-on-one.
Okay.
And let's say more or less almost like a bargain, whereby you tell them your situation and they see how best they can accommodate you. Inland Revenue is very friendly when it comes to that.
Because you remember that
Because
even
they're
though
trying
we
to
give you
encourage
a
you to
plan,
pay
Yes.
the rest. That's
even
the
though
whole
you
reason
have
for
a
the
plan, you
amnesty.
pay interest. So we try to tell you, you know, try to pay it now where the interest will be less. If you put it over a year, interest grows.
I have to say, I know this is a horrible thought, but, you know, here it is. It seems, when you think about the penalties, it seems to me that it even makes more sense. Yeah, it makes more sense to actually ask for a bank loan and pay the bank loan back, because the interest rate that you're telling me, the penalties rate, I should say, the penalties rate that Marcia is saying that you would have to pay in revenue if you don't pay it on time, 15%, your bank loan would be cheaper than that. So avoid the bank loans and avoid the penalties and try and get it in on time. This is The Law Factor Live. We're going for a break. When we come back, we're going to ask more of your questions.